Also, I don't believe that men and women are equal under the law. Children are not equal under the law. And it's not because we hate children, it's because we love them and we want to protect them.
This nigga's talking crazy.
So I don't need you to protect me. I just need you not to harm me. I can protect myself.
I don't want a daughter, bro. Dudes are just weird.
Then why would you want a son?
Cause I'm not gonna raise my son to be a weirdo.
Hi, my name is Zach, and I am 24 years old.
This is Chris. I'm a PhD student at the University of Southern California, and I'm also a Title IX specialist who challenges discrimination against men on college.
What is a
campuses.
men's rights
I'm 30 years
activist?
old.
Hi,
Oh, they all are.
I'm
Oh yeah, men's
Derek.
rights versus feminism.
I also
Yeah.
go by Brendio.
What
I'm
is
a
that?
YouTuber.
I don't know. I guess they fight for men's rights. Well, men can't have rights either.
Huh?
Men can't have rights either.
Men have a lot of rights.
Yeah, no, I'm just playing. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. It's a joke.
And I'm also known as an incel, which is an involuntarily celibate.
Hi, my name is Alicia.
What did he say?
I am a writer.
He's an incel. I think that means he doesn't have sex.
That means he hates women.
It does? No, it doesn't.
Yes,
He just doesn't have
basically.
sex.
No, that means hook up an incel now. Right now.
All
I'm pretty sure
right.
that's what it means.
Incel meaning. A member of an online community of young men who consider themselves unable to attract women sexually. So he just thinks he can't attract them. It doesn't mean he doesn't like them. Typically
Most
associated
incels
with
hate women.
views that are hostile toward women and men who are sexually active.
That's
So
right.
basically, he can't get no play, so he hates women, right?
Yes. Basically what
Okay.
it is.
Yeah, I did not know that. I heard that term so many times, but never knew what it meant.
Yeah, that's what it means.
Poet and teaching artist.
Hi, I currently work in the pet health
You gotta be
industry.
down bad to call yourself an
And
incel, bro.
I'm 24.
That's
I'm
what
a
I'm
graduate student
saying.
with a degree in health sciences, and I'm excited to be here today.
Can I get my men's rights activists in the left and my feminists on the right? Forward, if this statement is true for you. I believe men and women are different but equal.
True, true, true.
That's crazy.
I feel like one of them's gonna bring up like, oh, but men are stronger and better at sports or some shit. Like, they're obviously talking about like not sports and whatever, but like every day-to-day task equal type stuff.
Yeah, but like still, what doesn't make it like
Make them equal? I don't know. I want to see what they say.
I
Yeah.
know as a woman that I don't have the same physical strengths.
I
Men and women
bet he's gonna be like, oh, women only think with emotion or some shit like that. That's the main thing people say about females. They think with emotion.
that still agrees with the question though.
That they're equal.
We're different, but we're equal.
But he's
Like,
probably gonna
what
say
does-
that makes them mentally weak, so like they can't hold like a higher job like men do. I bet.
I
Because
guess
lots
it's
of
not-
men think that.
Yeah.
are built differently. I think whenever things are built differently, it's for a reason, right? But at the same time, the amount of limits that have been put on women historically, like the fact that not too long ago we were just allowed to like start voting. Even today, like the wage gap, just all types of stuff. Like women just don't have a lot of rights that are just, it should have nothing to do with what gender we are to be able to be paid equally or just be treated with respect. So, yeah.
I do believe that, of course, there are biological differences between men and women. And of course, there should also be legal equality. Of course, I disagree with the idea that women face systemic discrimination. You just mentioned the wage gap, which has been debunked so many times.
Okay,
I've
sure.
studied evolutionary biology quite a bit. And men and women are very different from...
This dude's gonna make them get into so many arguments. I can already tell by the way he's talking, bro. I can already tell.
Not just a physical, the bone structure, the neurological department as well as the chemical balances. And also, I don't believe that men and women are equal under the law either, or they should be rather. Children are not equal under the law. And it's not because we hate children, it's because we love them and we want to protect them.
So if
This nigga's talking
you believe you're not
crazy.
equal, then you're inferring that one would be greater than the other.
Well, so let me
So that's what
chime in
I'm
with my
trying to-
perspective.
yeah.
As far as not being equal, I don't think that that necessarily means inferior or superior. When it comes to certain things like roles like childbearing, a woman is going to be far more productive and a lot more nurturing than, say, a man. And when it comes to doing a lot more of the heavy lifting and the work, a man is probably going to be more suited for that role. And I don't think that that makes them any better or worse. We are just built, created, and born different.
I would also like to elaborate. I am not saying that they are worse overall or better overall.
They complement each other.
Like he said, yeah, they do.
They complement each other
You know,
beautifully.
They work
She
very
ain't
well
trying to
together.
have
They need
it.
each other for
working in that
for
proper-
offspring. I mean,
yeah.
that's part of the beauty of it, and I think trying to equalize them and make them the same, and transition and all that, I don't believe is going to be the most conducive when it comes to raising children, but also just for overall well-being.
I want to note that you brought up children being unequal to adults. I just hope you weren't comparing women to children.
That's what I got at first.
I mean, it was technically a comparison of women
Okay,
and children.
I don't need you to
suppose.
protect me. I just need you not to harm me. I can protect myself. I'm very capable of doing what I need to do. Okay?
Okay, sure.
100%.
I am an incel or an incel.
That's so funny.
What are you gonna do, sir, to protect a woman? Because you don't seem very capable either.
Oh, him? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. He's probably like, what, 5'7" at the tallest, you think?
Like,
He
yeah,
looked
if
pretty short.
that's your theory, then you know what I'm saying.
Advocate, I suppose. I don't hate women at all. I think we're different, and they have aspects that are superior to men as well. It's just very contextual on the subject.
Toxic masculinity is real.
What is toxic masculinity again? I keep forgetting.
It's like toxic masculinity is like hiding your emotions, not saying anything. You know, like men aren't supposed to be open about their emotions.
Okay,
whatever.
gotcha. Yeah. Why did nigga laugh like
I
that?
think that toxic
Bro,
masculinity
he is so
definitely a real
condescending.
thing. It's kind of
Yeah.
just the idea of what masculinity should be, but it goes wrong a lot of the times, saying that violence, sex, power, being a controlling person makes you a man.
I see it in very unfortunate places, like when the young men or boys in my family, even from like toddler age, are told, you shouldn't be crying, boys don't cry. And what that turns into, I see it when I'm in a bookstore and a guy who tries to get my number says, why y'all always gotta act like that? And he sincerely had this like cracking voice, like he was hurt, but it was an entitlement. And that's toxic masculinity. It's saying like, you don't realize how your behavior is harmful.
What does toxic masculinity mean? Is it character traits? Is it upbringing?
The suppression of feeling for a lot of men, because throughout childhood they're told man up. So because of that, there's a lot of repression. Repression then is usually channeled into anger for some people because they not always know how to express because they're told not to express.
So upbringing and
That's part of
environment.
it,
Okay.
yes.
But not something that's inherently a part of men.
No.
Okay.
I think that when you're showing your emotions, especially to random people, random women in some cases, they will view you as weak. I was raised by a single mother. I love her. She's my mom. I love her. But I could have used being told to act like a man. I think back, there were some cases where I was too emotional, and that negatively affected how I, what happened to me. And,
May I ask a question?
Sure.
What is your definition of weak
Hold on.
as a man?
Not being as forward as you could be, not being as honest, or trying to be not as emotional as you don't need to be. You don't have to cry over a cut. I know sometimes cuts hurt a lot, but sometimes it's necessary to be strong for the benefit of not just yourself, but for the people around you. It's fine to act emotional in certain cases, but I don't think it's fine to act that way with a woman. Maybe you have a really good friend and he sees you cry, like he's your best friend, and you're crying about something really personal. I think that's fine.
I feel like you're conflating two different situations.
I don't think I ever cried in front of one of my friends.
Really?
Nah, have you?
No.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
I wasn't a crier, like at all.
Really,
I'm still not.
I was a crier till like 6 or 7. And I
Yeah.
just stopped after that.
Or even women. So it feels like, okay, this is a woman that you don't have a bond with or any type of relationship with. And then you mentioned, or in front of your best friend, that's okay to cry. Well, that woman could be your best friend. That, so.
Why do you
And
laugh like
again,
that?
So,
because you don't see us as equal, as you said before.
Wait, what'd he say?
so
Best friend. That, so.
I don't think
and
you be friends
again,
with a woman. So.
He just said he doesn't.
I already know why he doesn't think. Oh, I already know what he's gonna say.
Wait, he said he doesn't like be friends with women. Is that what he said?
He said he's basically saying men can't be friends with women, and I already know why.
Why?
I already know what he's gonna say.
What's he gonna say?
He's probably gonna say because men, which men can't separate attraction from friendships when it
Oh
comes
yeah.
to women.
Mhm.
because you don't see us as equal, as you said before.
I don't think showing emotions is a sign of weakness. I actually think it's a sign of strength. Men do live shorter lives, and that's because of a repression of emotions, and that's due to many things that patriarchy has instilled.
Repression of emotions.
It has been shown that a person's well-being, their lifespan is shortened when they are not able to express their emotions. In addition, when they don't
It's
have
facts.
physical touch.
That's why sometimes you just gotta go outside and scream.
Yeah,
Just go outside and be like, ah.
that's one. Are you saying that you do that?
Maybe. Not just playing. I don't
Are
do
you
that.
really serious?
No, I'm just joking. It's a joke. Jeez, I don't do that.
So what do you do?
When I'm mad,
Or when you're upset, or just
you already know.
I do.
Yeah.
Or when they don't have a partner to keep them company. We are human beings here. We need to talk to each other. And if you think that our health isn't affected when you're not able to express that you are sad or upset, you're wrong. I think that men's rights activists are only men's rights activists as a response to women expressing that they want more equality. I don't think they focus on actual men's rights issues, and rather it's just an attack on women and feminism.
Today, women have more advantages than men.
Nah.
No.
Damn, they
I can
all
speak from a
went
hiring
there.
standpoint when it comes to things
I
like
bet they're gonna
affirmative
say, like-
action, and there are certain roles.
They're gonna say what?
Like
What do you think they're gonna say? Oh, physical.
Physical
Oh,
attractiveness. I heard a lot of dudes say that shit.
yeah.
I mean,
Roles that-
it's not a lie, but like it's not that much of a difference.
Yeah.
that traditionally men and women have been able to serve in, and now women can basically do all of those things, right? Because we've had such a strong advocacy for equal representation in the workplace. Whereas, for example, you'll never find a man as a midwife nurse, and I don't think it's appropriate. That's why there are those differences.
Women in like the most important parts of society have an advantage. There's a lot of positions that men simply aren't getting hired at anymore because of the fact that they're a man. And it's not just in the workforce. It's also, I would say, it's a lot easier for a woman to find a relationship, even if she says
That's cap. That's cap.
finding the right guy is so hard. It really isn't. But sometimes for a lot of guys, finding a girl at all is hard.
I'm back to that.
What?
Do you agree with that?
That finding a relationship is harder for women?
No, harder for men. That's what he just said.
Oh, I don't know nowadays. Like I said, it just depends on where you look, I would say. Or like if you're delusional, because like lots of my friends in the past like delusional with a girl. I'd be like, bro, like she obviously not serious about it. She's playing with you, yada yada yada, telling him all the signs and red flags and stuff. But like he's just delusional. Like, nah, bro, like she's different, bro. She only do this because of this, yada yada. Like I'm gonna make it work. And like if you do that in a relationship, like yeah, of course it's gonna be harder. Like you're not seeing like the common problem because you're not thinking straight. And I think lots of people do that in relationships. They like don't think straight and just make it hard on themselves and end up being like all girls are like this. Like nah, just the
That's what
girls
I'm
you
saying.
like are like that. And
I
yeah,
ain't hate it. It's maybe a shot, but like I don't know. I feel like dudes get caught up more in like when that type of thing happens. I feel like dudes get caught up more in the way the girl looks.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like they just want somebody to show off. They don't really like.
yeah. Out of
I
all
don't
my
know.
guy friends, I can confirm that does happen a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and then my other thing with like relationships and things like that. It's like you will see like a pretty ugly dude with like a very attractive girl, but you'll never see like an ugly girl with an attractive dude.
I've seen it a few times, good amount of
It's
times.
super rare. It's super rare.
I wouldn't say super rare now, but I've seen
It's
it.
super rare. Stop. No. Especially at my high school, bro.
Hmm.
There was some ugly ass dude with some pretty girls. Like, come on. But you won't ever see the other way around. I'm sorry. That's just what I think.
Hmm.
If I have to consider what I wear before stepping out the house because I don't want to draw some type of attention, I don't know how many other men have to consider, is this outfit going to be deemed safe for me? Any situations I have experienced where like I physically felt
What's the question?
endangered simply because I don't want to give my number out. It's part of that entitlement for
That's
men.
why I don't want a daughter, bro. Dudes are just weird. I swear,
So why
bro.
would I know we talk about this all the time, but then why would you want a son?
Because I'm not gonna raise my son to be a weirdo. Like I can raise my daughter to be safe, but there's still things outside of my control that can happen. With my son, that's less likely to happen. Because I'm gonna just tell him like obviously the rules and stuff when approaching a girl and talking to girls and like that, and like how not to be weird about it. Now
You can raise
you can show a girl like how to avoid guys like that, but they'll still like follow them, approach them, and like walk up to them no matter
and
how much you can train them, like not to like
you
go
can
towards them.
and you can show your son that this isn't a way to treat women. He still might do it.
No, he's not, because I'm gonna teach him, bro. If I'm the teacher, I know he's not gonna do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're not entitled a conversation with me. You're not entitled to my number.
That aside, it's like, are you gonna make one example of the entitlement of men when it comes to asking for your number be the all-encompassing thing that all men have a problem when it comes to approaching women?
Well, firstly, it's not just an example. It's not necessarily all men. I don't dislike men. I love sports, I play video games, I have bros, I hang out with dudes. We just want men to realize that if you have friends that are having locker room talk, as a man, as an ally, please say something to your friends.
Do you think repressing that is
Facts.
really the
Pause.
solution?
Guys do not point out their friends at all. They do not put their friends on the spot and be like, "Hey, that's not cool." Ever. I've never seen it happen.
Um,
And y'all be saying some out of pocket shit.
we do, but
Never seen it happen.
hmm. Like, were they joking or serious? Because like lots of the time they should be joking.
I mean, I'm not just
Like,
talking about.
like guys' humor and girl humor is way different.
I definitely get that. Like I know, guys' humor is like I guess whatever it is, unfiltered or whatever.
Hmm.
But still, like I feel like there's still some
I feel
strange
like you don't
things
know
that
what
are.
the jokes are, cause like I'll
No,
admit
I'm
some
not talking
guys
about
have
jokes.
weird
Not even
humor, but
tone.
like, but yeah.
I'm talking about actual behavior, like the way that they speak about girls and the types of things that they say, and not joking with.
Hmm. Well, it depends on what it is, cause like none of my friends really gone that deep. But yeah, I guess I don't know. I don't have any experiences like that. But yeah, lots of the time we just be joking. Never goes that deep.
I'm not just talking about you. You know what I'm saying?
You
Like I'm
know,
talking
yeah,
about.
yeah.
It's in a healthy male space.
There's nothing
I don't think
healthy
that's
about that.
healthy. I think it's
There's
toxic
nothing-
in itself.
I mean, if you're making jokes and you're doing all of that.
Jokes that are harmful jokes are not healthy because they just lead to people normalizing things. People always say, oh, it's just a joke, but when someone else hears it, they don't realize how that resonates and again, how that turns into violence. Like, this is not an isolated situation. I'm only thinking of 3 off the top of my head because if I think of too many, I'm gonna spiral
So
right now.
what's the alternative? Men shouldn't talk about these things.
No, I
No
think men
one's
can
ever
have a
said
healthy
that.
dialogue. I don't think men have to be toxic in order to have a conversation. I know plenty of men that are able to have conversations about healthy, productive things, just like women are.
Well, it's not obviously something that I have personal experience with, but only 1% of all people on the death row are women in this country. So when women and men commit identical crimes, women are much more likely to, for example, escape the death penalty. And that's just plain sex-based discrimination.
That I agree on.
That's true. Look, I'm thinking about basic needs, like around the globe, the women who don't even have like proper like sanitary like products.
I mean, I have to agree. Just small things like a tax on a box of tampons. Do you think I choose to do this monthly? No, trust me. So why should I have
That
to pay
is
taxes
lame.
when this is a medical necessity?
We're just like dismissed. A lot of our symptoms, a lot of the things we report, especially women of color, but women across the board are just treated a lot less equally.
I'd say that I'm an advocate for what I believe the role that men play in society. I believe that their views should be expressed openly, that they should be given a platform to do so, and I believed in men unapologetically and unashamedly being men as we were created.
I think in my heart that there are things that men are entitled to. I am all about human rights, and I do consider the rights of every human, but every time I hear of a men's rights activist, I hear anger and I hear very illogical reasoning, and it just boils my blood because it's a setback for all of us.
I feel that the other side does not understand my values.
Yep, they all gonna walk on that one.
I think a lot of times when a movement is created, the other side thinks that they're being attacked or think that it's some like attempt at erasure. That's not what feminism is about at all. What do you need a whole men's rights activism movement for? I'm sincerely confused.
Well, I mean, like, I will advocate for positive masculinity and what men should represent and healthy outlets for men. Like, I still think the Boy Scouts should be exclusively the Boy Scouts, for example, one of those things. Where I would like to think that we could get some common ground is when it comes to the clear biases that are in the court system, especially in the marriage and family court system, right? And right there is what I would advocate for when it comes to men's rights.
The things that stand valid, like that I'm hearing from y'all that are like valid to me, come from a place of like, I am treated like unfairly by the system versus a lot of the things women are saying. It's also America and the system as well, but a lot of it is like harm from men.
How and where?
How and where what?
Where's this harm from men coming from?
Okay, it started when I was young. I'm not gonna talk too long. I was 16, got a bottle thrown at me because I told a boy no. It started when I was in a club,
Damn.
a boy touched me. I said no, he kept touching me. It got to the point he got violent. It gets to the point that the only reason why a man decided to stop touching me in the bookstore I talked about earlier.
That's what I mean. That's why I don't want a daughter. I can teach my son not to do that. I can't teach my daughter to like, like avoid those guys. They're just gonna be there, You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because he realized my husband was not too far away. And he said, sorry, bro, never said sorry to me. That's why, and that's off the top of my head. This is why I get upset because I'm like, I'm here to talk about like how you feel, but when you just dismiss the fact that women actually have experiences, that's when it seems like it's about more than your rights. It seems like it's about your ego. And that's where I get pissed off, because how dare you tell another human being that their experiences, what they're telling you right in front of your face, is not valid.
I didn't say they were invalid. I said how and why. I'm trying to understand.
How and why?
listen.
Because it happened. It happened many times. It happened yesterday. It happened the day before.
Okay, I think some of the things that you guys are touching on, such as the court system and gender roles, are a subject of patriarchy, and that's part of what women are trying to dismantle, is those traditional gender roles.
Are there any feminist organizations that have done anything, for example, to challenge bias against men and fathers in the family court system?
Absolutely.
Can you please give me a list of feminist advocacy organizations that have engaged in any meaningful advocacy to address those issues? Because there are actually none.
Okay. I know that you came with your little research or whatever. I didn't come with a list of feminist organizations, but I know actively that there are
nigga's a nerd.
organizations that are trying to dismantle those inequalities.
Just one name, just one
Again,
organization.
I didn't come with a list, my dude.
There are no such organizations.
Again,
hate when people use, like, statistics can be used, yeah, sure, but I hate when people base their whole argument off of statistics, because
Yeah.
statistics aren't always 100%.
Like arguing with a robot.
Yeah.
In what ways are men's rights at risk?
I think there has been significant progress over the last decade or so, especially in the legal field. But I think there are still significant disparities that need to be addressed, such as poor health conditions, bias against men in the criminal justice system, bias against men in family courts, and bias against men in the educational system, especially in colleges.
Men and women should be allies.
Yeah.
men, unfortunately, many of them don't want to even have this open dialogue that we're sharing right now. We need men to help be allies, to help speak to other men.
It strikes me, like the way you phrase this, you almost want men to say certain things that you want them to say, as opposed to maybe actually listening to what they're saying.
What certain things would I want to
just
hear?
kind of like men being allies, men talking to other men, etc. I'm completely okay with that, but I'm not going to repeat like feminist talking points to other men.
We all believe different things. We may be under the label of men's rights activists, but for example, I'm probably the most traditionalist person here. I think we should be allies, but maybe us being allies in a patriarchy wouldn't be so bad. Us going back to the past wouldn't be so bad. It would probably be a lot happier if we were, getting married and staying married and having kids and, going to church and all that, la-di-da-di-da.
While speaking to the three of you, I feel like you're each coming from different perspectives. So it's hard to, again, just like our perspectives, it's hard to generalize. So to me, I feel like there are certain things that, even though we're not fully agreeing on it, things may get lost in translation, our verbiage may not be 100% correct, that we could at least agree on.
Can I ask one question? What would you envision would be the ideal man with the end goal of feminism as far as educating men or working to dismantle whatever patriarchy is? Like, what does that man look like?
It starts with childhood. We have to teach children as well as girls, because we're also taught, because of toxic masculinity, what a man should be as well.
I think that we just need to hold men accountable. In order to kind of make progress, we need help from people that will listen. Because let's be real, when we express our concerns, a lot of men refuse to listen, but they would be more likely to listen to another man.
Do you also feel like you have an ethical obligation to challenge other women or other feminists when, for example, they deny that men face discrimination?
When it comes to things like, men can't be abused. I've had this conversation with another woman, and it's the idea that just because a man may be physically stronger than us, does that mean they cannot be abused? And because of that, again, fairness, women need to be held accountable as well. I want to understand their viewpoint. As a woman and a woman of color, I know how it feels to be disenfranchised. So I want to understand why they feel the need to have a men's rights movement.
I feel empathy for the other side.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think there's ever a time in my life where a person says
You said yeah too.
Yeah.
they're hurting and I don't at least try to listen or understand. My only thing is that I want the same in return. So when I'm genuinely saying I'm hurting or I've been through something, and it's not just a personal experience because I actively do this work and surround myself with women saying I've been hurt by a man before. I get that you have stories, but I mean, that's actually my question. I haven't heard y'all stories. Like, I've sat up here and said I have 3 on the top of my head. I have about 30 plus probably. And I haven't heard y'all say,
Sheesh.
this is what happened to me.
I
30
don't think
plus
I'll
a
ever
lot.
invalidate a woman's feelings when she says, hey, I've been abused or whatnot. I don't think any of us here are rightfully saying that. But I think what's dangerous is when emotional testimony that may not always be what it is gets, creates bias, right?
Okay, I feel empathy for women being lost, being misguided. Look,
Oh my God, they're gonna hate him for this.
I don't know.
He knows he's
Like,
saying some nut shit. That's why he
Do
laughing.
you have any bit of empathy for
The way
anything he
he
said up
talks
here?
is like sarcastic almost.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's not taking it seriously. He thinks this is a joke or something. Talking to females.
Yeah.
Bro, he literally said they're misguiding. That's why he feels bad for him. That's so disrespectful.
Crazy.
I really do feel empathy for
Why
women.
was that so hard to say? Like for the stuff that we said, do you have any bit of empathy for the stories I said up here?
Yeah,
I just want to know.
I
Just-
do.
Like
yes.
I'm not even trying to be hostile. I just genuinely want to know.
Yeah, I just think that like a lot of the problems that have happened in your life are because society is not patriarchal. It's not traditional. It's we're gone. We're lost. We're in a
He
fallen
thinks
state, right?
This dude is
if we went back
crazy.
to the time that he said was all
His
perfect and
logic is
whatever,
weird. Cause like if it was patriarchal, what she would have done was like just let it happen and like not say nothing.
I'm saying, like
Like
that stuff is
what?
still happening.
There
Hello.
is a change of guard, not necessarily a change of guard, but things are evolving, things are changing. And I feel like a lot of men speak from a viewpoint almost of fear. A lot of men are having a hard time grasping that and feeling comfortable with it.
I do feel empathy for your personal experience, but I cannot sympathize with your ideological position because that ideological position is built on a fallacy, and that fallacy is actually that's causing very real consequences for men as a class in this country. So I understand that you are here with us as kind of the good feminist, so to speak, that you feel empathy for men, and I believe you, but I do not believe your movement, and I do not believe your ideology.
All right, we'll leave it at that. That's a wrap, guys.
That dude is too technical.
Yeah, I don't quite.
You know what?
I didn't quite understand like everything that he was arguing,
Mhm.
but I understood something.
Yeah.